guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is our next installment of our build series that we're doing on our 2021 Polaris Trail S 1000. So if you watched our previous videos, we've installed some other items. So now for this one, we're actually going to install cube lights, the side mirrors, and a rocker switch for those cube lights. So I'll take you over to what we're going to install. Also, gotta get the rear side mirrors for you. So there's our machine so far. We already have it prepped, ready, because we're gonna have to run wires. So our last installation, we had to take the top part of the dash off, so we just left it off for this one. So pretty much what we got that we're gonna install now. We had to get bar brackets. So we got these from Animotica. We got these from Amazon. I'll put everything that we've purchased on the description below. So these guys are actually going to mount on here. So they're going to mount onto the bar like this. That way we can still mount our rear view side mirror. Do you want to grab the side mirror out? To go with the side mirrors. So here is the cube lights that we're going to run. So they are a Harbor Freight Special Road Shock LEDs. They also have the floodlights that come out of the sides. So they're 3-inch, comes in a set of 2. So we got those to mount. So this is what it's roughly going to look like. Pretty nice. Instead of running a light bar, we're just going to run the cubes. And then this brand actually you have to purchase their wiring kit. So we didn't want to do that because we wanted to get a specific rocker switch. So we just got this wiring kit. Got this off of Amazon also. Night light, off-road LED light bar, cube lights, whatever you want to use it. We got the whole kit, so it comes with the whole harness and the rocker switch. So we're going to call these guys our Sasquatch lights. This light's blue, so it'll match our machine. And then we got the side mirrors from Polaris. So they'll mount to the bar just like those brackets. So that was the reason why we got the brackets for the cubes. So they'll just all fit right here and still fit together. So that's what we're going to start installing. Probably end up mounting the brackets first, and then we'll figure out the cubes, and we'll bring you to the next step that we're going to do. So stay tuned.
Watch, because this is going to separate when we undo that tube.
Okay guys, so thing we're going to do first, we are going to take out at least one of these bolts and mount the one bracket, put the bolt back in probably, and then take out this way the 2 bar pieces don't separate completely, because we surely don't want to have to put those back on. We had enough issues with the backside doing that. So we're just gonna get those situated and see what we're gonna do next. So stay tuned. Can you push this back? So we were able to take both bolts out, and it actually didn't separate as much as we thought it would, so that actually works for us. But the problem we're having, the stock bolts here would be fine if we were just using the bracket or just the side mirror, but putting them both on, the bolts aren't long enough. So we're gonna search the garage and see if we can find longer bolts, and we'll be back. Okay, so we found some bigger bolts. We didn't need to go that much. So as you can see, the black one is the stock, and this silver one here is the new one. So just a little bit longer to reach through. So we already put one through, and it's catching into the nut. So now we're going to put the second one in. make sure it's all lined up. There you go. And the bars have a groove for the nut to sit in, so it acts like a lock. So we're just gonna get these guys tightened in. Hand tighten them first, and then we'll use a ratchet to tighten them more. So roughly that's what it's gonna look like. So we're gonna get these tightened down and probably start the other side, and we'll be back. So we got the cube light mounted now with the bracket. So this is what it's gonna look like. We did test these out at home. They're pretty bright. So, but overall, that's what it's gonna look like when they're all set up. So we're gonna work on doing the other side, and we'll see what they look like when they're both on. Okay, so we got both lights on their brackets. We'll make 2 notes. Make sure you're looking at, there's actually stickers, one says left and one says right, because the inside of the light actually doesn't have bulbs, only the outside. So we actually had them backwards. So we had to redo this one and flip it with the other one. And then we did come out and found out, once we took out that mirror, the bottom of the box, Polaris actually gives you extra bolts. So they give you a bunch. So there, I guess, and there's different sizes. So you actually don't have to find bolts if you're doing the mirrors plus brackets for the cube lights, because if you get these, they already come with extra bolts. So outside of that, they're pretty easy to install that way. So pretty much now the only thing we have to do is we'll have to run the wires. Like I said, we're gonna have to end up cutting these pieces off because we're not using the harness that they recommend to buy, because we're never gonna be able to fit this through the hole in here. So that's what we're gonna do there. If anything else changes, I'll make a note, but I think we're gonna call it a night, and we'll start back again tomorrow. So your next clip will be our next step. For us, it'll be the next day. So we'll see you guys later. Okay guys, welcome back. So we got the ends of the cube lights cut off. Like I said before, it had a adapter on it for this brand's harness, but since we weren't using their harness, we had to cut off the adapter. So we cut that end off, put the clips on that actually come with the harness that we bought. So we just added those to the wires for both cubes, as you can see right there. So now we're gonna pretty much take these wires and we're gonna fish them through the hole that's by the bar. So this one's gonna go into this hole down here. And then this one is gonna follow the wires that we put down on this one. So we're gonna get these fished through and we'll be back. So guys, we got the harnesses all fished through. So if you put any harnesses together for any light bars, cubes, anything like that, you know these suckers are extremely long and you have extra wire. So the long end we fished, we hooked it up in here. You might not be able to see, but it's in there. And then we ran the wire behind this part of the plastic, came across, ran it behind this plastic, underneath there. We attached the fuse to the one bolt that's up here, since this is where the bus bar used to be. Since they don't have that anymore, we just utilize that. Here's the wire that's attached for the power, which we're gonna hook to our pulse bar. The wire down here runs through the rubber grommet through here, which will go to up here, and the rocker switch will hook up here, which will hook in probably the first one. And then we have the wire that comes and hooks up to the cube light up here. So once we got that all hooked up, we wrapped all the extra wire up and we just zip tied it right up here. So now we just have to take the power wire and the negative. We got to cut these off because we're not hooking them up to the battery. So we're going to trim these off, put an adapter on them, and then they're going to hook up to the pulse bar adapter. They come with a red, blue, and a black. We took out the red power because we're going to hook the red power line from the wire harness to the blue line because that's going to be our accessory power port, and then the black for the negative. So then this will only get power when the key's turned on, and the lights will work with the rocker switch only when the key is turned on, since we're hooking up to the blue. So we already spliced these guys, got these ready. We're going to put ends on this, cut this, put an end on this, and then marriage these two together, heat shrink it, and we'll be back for the next step after that. Okay, so we got the cube lights all hooked up. We got them to their pulse bar. We ran it here and just ran the extra back through this plastic, came around, and then plugged it into here. So everything's all hooked up. It's pretty organized, nicely placed for what we were using. So we got our cube lights, we got our rugged radio set up, and then we got our winch remote. So that's all done. So there's the cube lights. So like I said, when we did the wiring, we hooked the power up to the blue wire, so that's the accessory. So when Sterling goes and turns the key on, we have the remote hooked up right there, just hanging for right now. So when he turns the key on, you have this little light that shines. So when the car machine's running, this light will show, just like our winch light. That'll show anytime the machine is on or just the key. So now, since the key's on, we have power to the remote. We'll turn the switch on. So then the Sasquatch lights up, and there's your lights. So like I said, these guys have the side pod lights, so when it's dark it'll actually shine out a little bit more that way, plus straight on. So we'll get a good look from far distance. So that's what the cube lights look like. So now pretty much we're just gonna redisconnect this again, put the rocker switch in the spot, and we're gonna wrap these wires. Most likely we're gonna have to zip tie them to the back of this frame. So we're gonna clean this up and then we'll bring it back for the finished touch. Okay guys, so we took the extra parts of the wire for the rocker switch and we just zip tied them to the back of this frame part of the bracket here. And then we got the rocker switch right there. So pretty much that's what it's going to look like. We'll turn this on again. Light turns on. Light turns on when all the lights are on. There's that. Turn it off. Light turns off. So pretty much that's what it looks like, and then we'll put the box in so we can show that it'll still fit, and just put that in. We got a different box, so if you haven't seen that video when we installed that, we got a box that'll hold a tablet. So it'll sit like right there. And this specific box doesn't even come close to this part of the metal, so because it's back here some. So we have clearance there, so we're good there. So overall, that's pretty much the setup for the cube lights. Only thing we might need to do, we might readjust the cubes just when it's dark out, just to see where the lights hit and if we need to move them. But other than that, that's probably the end of the installation for these cube lights. Once again, it's cube lights from Harbor Freight. They are the RockShox LED 3-inch flood with side lights. And then we just got the nightlight wiring harness with the rocker switch. This was from Amazon. I'll link everything up in the descriptions below. So, but overall, that's pretty much it. Wasn't too bad of an installation. Sterling, do you have final words?
No, you did a pretty good job of running the wires.
Don't mind Mario.
Yeah, running the wires. They were nice and clean looking. They're not bunched all over the place. I'm really happy with how we ran the wires. And
I would say the only thing, like we said with the cube lights, this brand has the end pieces already had connectors on it, so you have to buy their harness. But we couldn't use those connectors anyway because they would have never fit in the plastic. So it's the only downfall. You do have to buy a separate harness, which you would have had to if you matched this. But you got to cut these ends off if you're going to run them under the plastic. If you're not going to run them under the plastic, feel free. You could buy that RoadShox wiring harness, and then like if you mounted it on here or on your roof, you would be able to use those adapters. Any negatives?
No negatives so far. I mean, they work. They look good as of right now. We'll definitely see how they look once it gets really dark out and we turn them on.
Well, we could do a test thing if you want to turn the garage lights off real quick. We'll turn the garage lights off real quick and we'll turn the lights on. Because it's pretty dark outside right now, so we'll see how bright these suckers are. So, as you can see, it's pretty dark out here. You can still see some light outside, but overall, it's pretty dark. That's just our lamp. So, we'll see how bright these suckers really are, and we'll go from there. So there's the light. The light itself isn't that very bright on the rocker switch, but overall it's not too bad. So these are how bright the Fang lights are, or never mind, Fang lights aren't on. You got the eyebrow lights on. There we go, there's the Fang lights. So overall this is what it would look like. Can you turn the headlights on? So those are low beams. Those are high beams. So overall, that's what that part looks like. So if we're riding at nighttime and we had all these lights on, this is what it would look like. Not very bright. You can see the roads. So we'll try the cube lights. So as you can see, lights up pretty well. You can't even see the dash, so if anyone's coming towards us, they ain't gonna see us in the cab, that's for sure. So we'll turn off all our regular lights, and we'll just keep cube lights on. So that's what that looks like. So they're pretty bright. That would be the side part of the floodlight right there. So if you were looking, right here is the side of the pod. So that's straight on. That's a little bit light to the side, so it'll work well that way. But as you can see from back here, that's how bright they are. So we'll turn the lights back on. So there we go. So pretty much that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully you like the installation of these pod lights and the rocker switch and the side mirrors. So hopefully you like it, share it. If you know anyone that has this model machine and is looking to put cube lights on, throw them this video. Maybe it'll help them a lot. But stay tuned for our next installation video. That'll be coming up soon. So yeah, so we're gonna end this video and hopefully you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't, and the ones that have, thanks for subscribing, thanks for coming back, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Hey guys, so if you bought the Polaris OEM style mirrors, you probably realized you can install them just by using the bolts and installing them by the cage. But I know if you're wondering, how do you fix the mirrors, because the mirrors don't move. So we did figure out how to set the mirrors, because just stock, you're pretty much looking at your back plastics. So this video will just show you how to fix the mirrors. So pretty much you see this bolt back here. You're going to unscrew this bolt. It just uses what kind of bolt?
It's a 5mm Allen bolt.
Okay. So once you get this out, the easiest way we figured out, just get a pick or something tiny, and you're just going to put it into the hole and just push, and the mirror comes right out. So one thing that they don't show you in the instructions to mount these, they don't talk about this whole thing at all. So pretty much this is just the back side of your mirror. This is your little doohickey that's going to allow your mirror to move. So you got to loosen all three of these bolts. So we'll do that next.
You don't have to loosen them all the way, just loosen them a little bit so that you have play here. Okay.
So once you get them loose just a tad, that middle piece will move, so that's what actually your mirror pivots on. So then pretty much the thing you got to do next would be you're gonna put it back in and install it.
And you gotta watch, because here there's a flat spot, in the bottom there's a flat spot, and then the sides are curved. So if you look in here, that plastic is the same way. Flat spot on the bottom, flat on the top, and it's curved on the sides. So you gotta make sure it's like that to mount it back in.
So you might have to adjust the knob enough just to get it on where you need it to sit back into the hole.
There we go.
Okay, so once you push it back in, then it sits. So then pretty much you would just get into your cab. You'll be able to readjust the mirror to wherever you need it.
I gave this to my wife. What's your deepest secret?
I used to rip my ex-boyfriend.
Oh my god! What's your deepest secret?
Me cogía mi hermanastro.
What? What's your deepest secret?
And then once you
What's your deepest
get it to where
I was serial before.
you want it,
On me, no! What's your deepest secret?
I have a diary under my bed.
Oh, what's your deepest secret?
then pretty much now that it's set, you're going to go back and use your little tool. So you're just going to push it back out. And then you could tighten these back up completely, or you could tighten them just enough that if you did want to still be able to play with the mirror in case you needed to move it again, we're just going to tighten them down to where we had it positioned. So we just fully tighten them down again.
Come on, man, you show me! This thing's supposed to be back on the fucking road.
So once the bolts are all tightened down, this piece won't move now. So it's pretty much positioned where you had it moved to begin with. So pretty much you just put it back into the housing like we did before. You just line it up and then you'll push it into place. Once back into place, you just put the bolt back in.
You guys can...
Yeah. Okay, now just tighten it.
Tighten it by hand, and then we'll use the ratchet real quick to make sure it's completely in.
Okay.
And then just go back in the cab and make sure it didn't move.
That's good.
And then it's set where you had it. So that's how you adjust your mirrors for the Polaris roll cage mirrors. Thanks for watching.